What's up, Buttercup? I'm Pam Barnes, marketing expert,
And I'm Hannah Cox, business strategist,
and this is the Go Getter Gals podcast.
where everyday gals grow together and you'll find resources to help you grow personally and professionally. Hey gals, it's Hannah. Today I'm joined by Erin Bass. She owns a House of Color franchise here in the Wiregrass, and we're going to be talking about her business, about her life, how she's balancing things, and just have a really great conversation today. So, how are you doing, Erin?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, of course, of course. Tell me now, I know that you actually recently moved to the area. So tell me how things have been going since you moved. What's it like being in a new area?
So, I am born and raised in Nebraska, and I grew up in a small town of about 400 people, and it was the same town that my parents both grew up in. And so, had always been in Nebraska, and my husband and I and our family had been traveling down to Florida in the last few years and just were really enjoying the fact that it was warm year round and we were tired of the snow. And the more we did it, the more we thought, maybe we could make the South our home. And so we literally came home from our last trip and told our families that we had made a family decision and that we were moving south. And I think they all thought that we were really crazy for a long period of time until they saw the for sale sign go up in the yard and actually realized we weren't kidding and we were moving south. And so it's been an adjustment. When we did it, we wanted to make sure that the kids were on board because they were at that kind of an age where they weren't they were kind of that middle school age, and so we didn't want to pull them away if they weren't ready to go. And but they both agreed, and so we moved to the beach first. We moved to Inlet Beach and lived there for about 14 months, and then my husband got a job offer in Dothan, and so we just moved to Dothan the last 2 or 3 months, and so we're calling Dothan home now. And Dothan feels a lot like Nebraska from where we came from. It's just a little warmer here, like 12 months out of the year instead of 6 or 9 months out of the year. And there's, for the most part, usually not snow. So we're excited about that.
I love how you're like, usually there's not snow because like 2 years ago we had a historic amount of snowfall. And then even this past winter, it snowed again. But it's only for like one day.
I can live with that. It's when it snows and then it snows again. And Nebraska's weather is just very not consistent. Let's just say that. It could be 30 one day and it could be 90 the next day. And I'm not kidding. That literally happened this last week because we still watch the weather back home. And so it can just be very inconsistent. So we like it down here in the South where it's more consistent.
That is crazy. Do you feel like, okay, so since from where you came from feels really similar to where you are now as far as like the structure and the population, but do you feel that Southern hospitality? I've gotten some mixed responses when I've asked that before.
Yeah, no, so far, yes, I felt very welcomed just by everybody that we've like really come in contact with. Um, the beach was probably a little bit harder just because it was very transient. People are in and out all the time, and so it was a little bit harder to build community there. And so the beach was a fun place to live for 14 months, but it also felt like we needed more of a place where we could have community. And so when we moved up here, it just felt like, everybody for the most part has their roots here. And yeah, everybody's been super welcoming. I met great people at the beach that I'm still in contact with and still are my friends, but I've also already quickly made friends here and made some really great connections here. So it's been good.
Good. Good. So then I know you've told me this before, but how long have you owned your franchise of House of Color?
So I've been with House of Color since 2020. And so when I first started, even before I went and had my colors done, I had a friend that did it and I saw that she was doing it. And then I kind of started to like really research it and like got laser focused on like what it was the House of Color did. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think I want to even become a consultant even before I had my colors done. So I contacted the company and they're like, well, first of all, you have to get your colors done. So I was like, okay. So I made an appointment to go get my colors done. The problem was it's a franchise-based business. So where I was living was already owned by another franchise owner. And at the time, she was actually one of the first probably 10 consultants in the United States. And she lived in a small town in Nebraska of like 1,200 people. But she had really grown her business. And I would say the growth of the company was really dependent on her because she had lived in different places across the country. And so she was, having these people, she was doing their colors and it was changing their lives. And so there's more and more consultants that were buying franchises and popping up. And so she didn't have an associate. So you have a franchise owner, and then a franchise owner can hire associates who basically do the same thing. They just don't own the franchise. So they work and they provide the same services, but they just don't have any ownership in the franchise. And so I approached her to see if she would be willing to hire me as her first associate. And there must have been something about me that she liked, and she was like, agreed to it. So, and when I started, I was working in corporate America. And so my goal was to work on the weekends and build my business and then eventually say goodbye to corporate America and then solely do House of Color. And so I started in 2020. I went and was trained in Kansas City the very last week of January. We came home and then basically our businesses got shut down mid-February, March because of COVID. So I was excited because I had this brand new business that I wanted to tell everybody about, share it with everyone, but then basically got brought home and said, no, you can't do this. So it was good. It was a blessing in disguise because I was still working my other job. So I still had, paycheck coming in from that, but it was a little bit slower of a start than I was anticipating, I guess. So.
Okay. Yeah. So then you actually didn't own your franchise until you moved to the beach or until you moved to Dothan?
So actually, I just purchased my franchise in February of this year. So when we moved to the beach, I was trying to mitigate my risk of moving to a completely new area and not having any clients to rely kind of back on. So I wanted to be able to come back to Nebraska and still see my clients in Nebraska and still be able to see clients there where I had a presence until I could get my business in Florida built up. And so my franchise owner in Nebraska purchased the franchise in Florida, and I could work in Florida and then I could fly back to Nebraska and work in Nebraska as well. So I still had a studio in Nebraska that I was working out of there. And that worked really well because it got us back to see our families. It got me back to see my clients, and it still allowed me to, bring in income when I was still building in a new completely area. So then in February, when we moved to Dothan, we felt like it was a good time for me to come out on my own, take over that franchise on my own, and solely make it mine. So I've given up my role as an associate to the franchise in Nebraska. So I don't go back to Nebraska now to see clients. I go back to visit, but not to see clients anymore. And so they are still all my clients. So I still handle all the things that I can do maybe remotely. Like I can still sell them makeup and answer any questions that they have and any of that stuff. They still are my clients, but I can't go back and provide services there anymore since it is a franchise-based business based on a geographic location.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So then I'm hearing that there's so much more to what you do than just the color analysis. So, give the listeners an idea of what it is that you actually do as a whole, and also what is your favorite part of your job?
Okay. So there's a lot of people who are seeing color analysis right now on TikTok and social media, and which is great because it's bringing up the awareness of, getting my colors done, and people are learning about what that is. But the thing that I love most about House of Color is because there are other color systems out there, but what we do is like a whole package. It's what I classify as what we consider the client journey. And so a lot of people will initially start with coming in for a color analysis. And in a color analysis appointment, we determine through a unique draping process, whether you have warm undertones to your skin or you have cool undertones to your skin. And we cannot see your undertones with the human eye. Our undertones are found underneath our subcutaneous layer of skin, and we determine those based on when we drape colors. How does your skin react to the colors that we're putting on your face? So the right colors are always going to brighten us. They're going to make our skin look really clear and smooth and creamy. The wrong colors can really work against us. They can either make our skin look kind of sallow, or they can make it look gray or ashy, just making us look like we don't feel very good. And so then from there, once we determine their season, because then we determine, are you warm or cool? And then we determine, do you need bright colors or do you need muted colors? Once we narrow that down, you lean into one of 4 seasons. So you're either classified as a winter, a summer, an autumn, or a spring. Then we go through and we put on makeup that is geared to or sorted to your color season. And so everything we put on you when it comes to your makeup is all going to harmonize because we've determined your undertones. And so that's the really fun part, is because so many women come in and they say, I've tried to buy lipstick forever. I've wasted so much money over the years, like buying lipstick that I've never felt right in. And I'm like, oh, you're going to love this part, because everything we can put on you is going to look amazing on you. And so we go through that piece, and then we go back through and we do a rating process. So they get this color fan where it has their colors in it that's going to help them shop. But we go back through and we show them each color on them, and we talk about where is this color going to be best to be worn. So we give like head to toe color ratings, which are your wow colors. Those are the colors you want to buy your suits in, you want to buy swimsuits in, you want to get your headshots taken in. Those are the ones that really have the most impact around your communication zone. So then, we tell people it's a 90-minute service, and they get a lot of information. So I always tell my clients, I'm like, you're literally going to feel like you drank from a fire hydrant after you leave. Like, you're going to be excited. You're going to probably want to go shopping. You're going to feel really good, but you're going to feel like I just unloaded so much new information on you. And so I always tell my clients, like, go home. You want to sort your closets. You want to practice using your fan. You want to wear your makeup. Give yourself a little bit of grace in there. But I want you to come back for the second piece. And the second piece is a style session. And during the style session, we go over things like, we teach our clients, how do we dress your own unique body shape, the architecture of your body, but we also want to reflect their personality. Like, who are they from the inside, and how do I reflect that in how they're dressing themselves? And so there are that class is about a 3 to 4 hour class where we have them bring in items from their closet that they love, that they feel amazing in, and then other things from their closet that they're like, I bought this, I thought I loved it, but apparently I don't, because I'm not wearing it very, very often. And so this class teaches them, because a lot of times people will bring things in and they'll say, I should love this jacket. It's in my colors. Why do I not love it? And I say, okay, it's more than likely it's a style issue at this point. It's either the jacket's not hitting you in a very flattering spot. It's maybe more flowy, or it doesn't have structure and you really need structure. You do better with structure. And so it teaches you and kind of gives you these guidelines that were going to work for you for the rest of your life. It doesn't matter like what fashion's doing, what trends are doing. You'll be able to take these guidelines, I think, and look at a trend and know, is that trend going to work for me based on what my guidelines say? So for me, my personal guidelines, I'm kind of petite. And so if you put me in something that's like big and baggy and doesn't have any structure to it, I look like I got into my mom's closet and put on her clothes. And so it doesn't do anything for me. So I need structure when it comes to my pieces. And then we talk about scale. So like the necklace that I have on, I do better with pieces, accessories that are dainty, where other people get by with like larger accessories, maybe more dramatic accessories. And so we talk about like the scale of the patterns that we should be wearing, the structure of the jackets that we should all be wearing. Where should things be hitting us? Like our necklaces, our belts, our jackets, like all of that. It's so good. And I always tell people like, you're going to love style just as much as you loved color, and it's all going to come together, and it's going to give you this confidence to be able to go out and shop on your own, whether that's at a department store or at a garage sale or at a thrift store or at a boutique. You're going to have all these guidelines that are just going to make you confident in knowing what works best for you and your body.
Right. Okay.
So,
I love that.
it's
I
a
love
lot.
that. And it is a lot. And that's just you telling me about it. So I imagine going through it is it's like super valuable also. You know, we talked about that. Like this is something that if a listener wanted to buy this service for their mom
Yeah.
or for their friend, you know, this is something that the woman who experiences this process gets to keep with them for the rest of their life. And it will always help them feel their most confident and beautiful. And I feel like this is something that would just always uplift your confidence. I am curious about like, you know, as we get older and go through different phases of life, you know, pregnancy, postpartum, getting older, your metabolism slows down. Like what happens if your body's composition changes? And if one of your clients came to you and said, "Hey, you know, I'm 3 kids in and 50 pounds heavier than I've ever been in my life, or from the last time that we did this process," how do you support them?
Oh, okay. So that is the beauty of this job, is getting to work with women of all ages and also men and also kids. So I tell people, if somebody asks like, "Oh, who is your ideal client?" I'm like, "Oh, anybody that wears clothes, you know." It's like anybody can come and have this done. And I think back, I was 40 when I had it done, and it literally changed my life. And I was like, this is amazing. And it made me think back to, you know, gosh, I wished I would have had this service when I was like 16 years old. I feel like I would have, you know, not wasted so much money and just been more confident in showing up and being able to maybe like speak up and all of that. So I do have a 13-year-old and a 12-year-old, but my 13-year-old is a girl, and I always think that I am giving her this like armor, that she has this confidence that she can show up and know that she is showing up and just representing herself in the best way that she can from the outside. And then I also remember like being pregnant and feeling like, oh my gosh, this child is overtaking my body. And, you know, like you just kind of felt miserable on certain days. And you're like, oh, if I feel like I could have maybe navigated being pregnant and post-pregnancy a little bit better if I would have known my best colors at the time. So when I have a young mom that comes in, whether she's pregnant or she's maybe a new mom, I tell her how proud I am of her that she took the time to come in and do this for herself, because I know that there's going to be some hard days. Some days you're like, you don't even get a shower. But if you can put on a t-shirt that's in your best colors, maybe you got puked on, but maybe you walk into the bathroom and there's something that when you look in the mirror, you feel a little bit better about yourself because you know that those colors are working for you. You don't feel as maybe bad as you could if you were wearing something that was really working against you. And so I just think that sometimes those colors can get you through hard days. And then I have some women that I've experienced where they are older and maybe they always put everybody else first, and they didn't take the time to put themselves first and give them permission to go get that self-care. And so they kind of forgot how beautiful that they still really are. And sometimes there are tears. And that to me is the biggest gift that I can get. Sometimes people feel funny about crying over it, but it is why I do what I do, because we all have this inner beauty, and it doesn't take a lot. It's literally the right colors, the right colors of makeup that we wear, and we're just enhancing that natural beauty that we have with the right things. And so that's when you get to give those women a hug and say, see, you are still really pretty. It's just that there's a lot of things that got in the way. And that you were a really good mom and you put everybody else first, and you kind of always put yourself on the back burner. But I want you to know that you look amazing. And I'm so glad that you came in and did this. So I hope that it's beneficial to them at that point too. So, but this is a job that doesn't feel like a job. And so many people always say that that's the kind of job that you want to find, is a job that never feels like it's work. And this job never feels like a job. So I love what I do, and I'm passionate about what I do. And the thing that I feel like is most fun is I probably have seen like over 2,500 clients is probably where I'm at right now. And I know that everyone is going to be made up differently. So I've maybe seen women who have similar characteristics or maybe similar features, but until I actually set them down in the chair and put the drapes and the colors on them, they are like a little science experiment, because this is really around the science of color and color theory. And so everybody is different. So that's the beauty of it, is that everyone that comes through my door is always going to.
Hey gals, if you love what you're hearing and you want to get more involved, because trust me, I love Go Getter Gals. I'm obsessed with it. If you love this podcast as much as we do, all you have to do is go on our Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, and we're under Go-Getter Gals. We are going to have all of our episodes on the podcast link on our website at go-gettergals.com. Thank you for allowing me to interrupt for just a second. We look forward to continuing to help you grow. Without further ado, here's the Go Getter Gals podcast.
Be different.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I mean, it sounds like this is a service that anyone could use. I know that when I think about color analysis, I am thinking about your, and not just color analysis, but everything that you're talking about, like a personal stylist. When I think about getting a service like that done, my head automatically goes to, oh, for my professional photo shoots. Oh, because I'm a businesswoman, real estate agents and people who are forward facing. I feel like that is where my head goes. Mm-hmm. But even just from listening to you right now, it's really obvious that this is a service that benefits any woman who might just struggle with her self-image a little bit, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, whether you are freshly retired and looking for this entry into your new life, or if you are younger, you just graduated college, you're looking to put your best foot forward in the corporate world. It doesn't matter if you are a stay-at-home mom, if you are entering the workforce, if you are a business owner, if you are a retiree. There really is no particular person who benefits from this service more than the other.
Correct. I have really thought about, should I niche down? Like, should I just work with professionals? I think professionals really should consider this, because we are the face of our businesses, and we have 7 seconds when we show up without opening our mouths. We are sending a message every day. And I try to communicate that with my clients, is no matter whether you're speaking or not, you're showing up communicating a message. And what is that message? Is that message that I showed up in my pajamas or something very casual? If you own a business, you are the face of that business. And so I feel like business professionals definitely want to come across as very professional, very trustworthy, very honest. And that's what showing up in your best colors can do. I think people can get promoted within an organization by showing up dressed very well and dressed in their best colors, because it's showing that they care. It's showing that they have respect for the company that they work for. It's showing that they have respect for the clients that they're seeing. It's showing that they have respect for themselves. And so I think COVID, unfortunately, didn't help us when it came to teaching people how to dress our best. We got very comfortable being dressed comfortably. And so we are really trying to have to educate people. And the beauty about what I think I get to show people when we do their style is I'm going to show someone how to be comfortable in their own style. I'm not going to make them play dress up so that they're dressed one way during the day when they go to work, and then they're going to dress completely different when they go out for dinner or go on a evening with their girlfriends or something like that. I'm going to be able to show them how they're going to take the look that they wore for the day and maybe change it up with a few pieces, and they're still going to feel really great when they go out at night. So, but yeah, I think about, young girls coming in and having their colors done. And my daughter doesn't wear her colors every single day, but the majority of the clothes in her closet are in her colors. And so, I think that it's good for her to know, so that when she goes on her first job interview, that she can show up looking like she knows what she's doing. She'll be in harmony. She'll have, soft makeup that will be working for her. She won't have to feel like she's got to cake it on and try to be something that she's not, but she just knows the colors that work for her that way. So, yeah.
That's great. Okay, I'm going to pick your brain a little bit. And I don't know, maybe I didn't even ask you beforehand, so you could just be like, no, Hannah, I don't give away any information for free. But I'm going to ask you, if you had any piece of information that you could give a broad audience without ever seeing them to help them get started on a journey of building their confidence and dressing their best, is there any advice you could give to people without even seeing them?
Okay, I can think of two things right off the top of my head. So color comes from three primary colors: red, yellow, and blue. And we're taught that really young. I feel like we're taught that in kindergarten. And so true red really sits like in the middle of the color wheel. So true red looks amazing on anybody. So I would say if I had an organization that was going to buy a t-shirt for a group project, like a team project, and they were going to put everybody in that color, I'd be like, okay, let's get red. We're going to put everybody in true red. But everybody from there either has a better red, which can either be warmer if you have yellow-based undertones, so it's going to be more of an orangey type of red, or a better red for somebody that's on the cooler side of the color wheel is going to have more blue to it, so it's going to be more of a burgundy or maroon. But everybody can wear true red. The next thing is around hair color. So hair color is a really big piece to the puzzle. And women are spending lots of money getting their hair done. And so I think sometimes we spend a lot of money getting our hair done, and sometimes we like it and sometimes we don't like it. And that is because it's either working for us or working against us because of our undertones. And so one of the things I would tell my clients that I fully embraced after having my colors done and having to make some adjustments because my hair color was not right is you can always trust your natural hair coloring. And so some of us are like, if you're in your 40s and you feel like that gray is starting to come in and you don't want to go gray, then having your colors done is a great way for you to have confidence to go to your stylist and say, I know that I need to either keep it more warm and more golden, or I need to keep it more cool and more ashy. But if you want to just throw that out the window, no matter what color your hair color is, you will always look best in your own natural coloring.
That's such good advice. And I personally am dealing with that because I don't like to spend a lot of money on getting my hair done, but every once in a while, like I'd say once a year, I just get an itch to go drop a couple $100 on my hair. And as you can see, it's grown out. I'm getting to that point now. Yeah. Not only has it grown out, but the blonde, the tone of my blonde has yellowed.
Yes.
And I know that I have a cooler, like cool to neutral undertone. Yeah. And I don't like how this color of blonde clashes with my face. And so I have literally just a couple weeks ago been like, I want to go back to my natural color
Yeah.
because I can trust my natural color.
Yep.
So
Yep, God
that's
didn't
great.
screw up in that department. So yeah,
That's
that's
right.
what I always tell people. I'm like, you can always trust your natural hair. And so all the little silver highlights that you see in mine, that's all natural. But when I went in and had my colors done, mine I had this golden like balayage that was totally not working for me. And so
Yeah.
that's one of the things that we do when they show up for their appointment. I always ask like, is this your natural hair coloring? And if it's not, then we put this really fun little bonnet over them so that we can just have just the natural stuff peek through so that we can see how their skin and how the colors react to their hair coloring because hair color will change. It will look richer. It will look shinier when your hair color is up against the colors that work for you. And it can look definitely duller and not as fresh when you are in the wrong colors. So it's crazy.
Oh, yeah. That makes total sense. Okay, the other piece of advice I wanted to pick your brain on is this industry just sounds so fun. It sounds like something that I can imagine a lot of people listening would be interested in wanting to do themselves. And so, without going into the nitty gritty of exactly how to do exactly what you're doing, if somebody wanted to be a stylist like you and do color analysis and help women with picking out makeup and clothing styles and personal shopping and all of the things that you provide for your clients, if someone was listening and said, that's my dream, I want to do that, what piece of advice would you give them as they get started that you wish somebody gave you?
Oh, okay. This is where I think I feel super blessed on starting out as an associate because somebody else had already been trained and I felt like I could just like have my hand be held and be coached along the way. And so I felt like that was really good. But just really, I think there's different color systems out there. I feel very passionately about the system with House of Color and the training that we get. So I would really like look into the research of like, what is the training going to be like? How much help am I going to get? How much support is there? What is it going to cost me to get started? How am I going to afford that if it's something that's expensive? Is there somebody in my area that's already doing it? I've had someone reach out to me that has thought about wanting to do it, and I was like, oh, come shadow me. Because I feel like you don't know until you don't know, and you don't want to make this giant investment in it. For us, it's a fairly good size investment to become a franchise owner. And so I wouldn't want somebody to make an investment that they weren't confident in. So I love how House of Color is definitely going to make you go get your colors and your style done before you get to move on in the process. So I would think that you would definitely want to have the service done yourself and make sure that it's something that made you feel good and that you felt like this was something that you could see yourself doing. Because I think with anything, if you're not passionate about something, then if you look at where you're going to be 5 to 10 years down the road, if you're not passionate about something, no matter, I don't think how much money you're making, if the passion's still not there, it's going to be hard to be doing 5 to 10 years down the road. So, do a lot of research on it. Like how I did was I kept my corporate job. So I was trying to figure things out along the way so that I felt like I could slowly take my time and build my business instead of feeling like I needed to have all these clients right away in order to pay my bills. So just trying to kind of like figure out what the risk versus reward is, really understanding what you're getting into, pick everybody else's brain that's already in the industry, research the area that you live in, look at the demographics, look at the, maybe like how much people are making in the area, because this is definitely a service that is, kind of like getting your hair done or getting your nails done. Like, it's not something that you need to have, but it's something that's definitely very beneficial to you once you have it done.
Yeah, so it's like a luxury service.
It is.
And I think that it can be a luxury service, and like we mentioned before, this is something that follows you for the rest of your life. Unlike paying $300 to get your hair done every 6 weeks, or going and paying $150 for a nail set every, again, I guess 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
This is something you do once, you invest in once, and then it follows you for the rest of your life. I think that's the kind of advice I feel like everyone and anyone who wants to start any business should do. Research the potential in the area, the opportunity in the area. Find a mentor who you can shadow just to make sure that you're not, fantasizing about a process that doesn't exist. Like, you get to know exactly what it's like. I think that's great. That's great.
Yeah, because there's some good days and some hard days with anything as a business owner. I mean, as a small business owner, like the most favorite part of my job is when I get to see clients, when they get to come in and I get to set them into the chair and take them through the process. But when they leave, it's like, okay, I have administrative work to do. I have to go market my business. I have to, order supplies. I get to put the supplies away. Like, I get to do all these not so glamorous things behind the scenes. And so you really want people to be like, no, that's part of the job too.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we're coming up here to the end of the podcast. I have loved hearing all about your business and what you do and how it benefits everybody, but really women, I feel like, benefit from this more than anyone. And it's probably because I am a woman that I say that, but I always ask everyone on the podcast about legacy. So I want you to first tell me, when you hear legacy, what does that mean to you? What is a legacy?
To me, legacy is probably like, what am I going to be known for? Like, what will I be remembered by? And I would hope that the people that I work with that came into my studio felt like I was really here to serve them and to help them be able to show up as the best version of themselves, and to know that they were put here on this planet for a reason, and that I gave them the confidence to maybe tackle something that they felt very passionate about, but maybe have been playing small, and that maybe the service that I gave them the confidence to go out and say, wow, I have confidence now. I know who I am. I can show up as the best version of myself, and they can tackle the things that they were called to do in their life. And so I really, I guess, just want to be known as like somebody who's really there to serve my clients and to put them first, and to give them this confidence that we all should have. And there's a lot of things, I think, along the way. People come in with a lot of baggage, and I want them to always know that I want them to come in with an open mind, and I want them to lay down all of the comments that maybe they've heard from even loved ones along the way. Like me, like I've heard people say, I can't wear red. My mom told me as a redhead that I can't wear red. And I'm like, well, I'm debunking that one today. Like, that's not true. Or my grandma always told me that I should have bangs because I have a really big forehead or whatever. Like all of these things that maybe were made as comments that maybe weren't meant to hurt us, but they've always held us back, and they've always stayed with us. And so I always try to tell my clients, I want you to be coachable if you want to get the most out of the service. And so I want you to leave all that baggage at the door. I want you to come in with an open mind, and I want you to know that that I think you're gorgeous, and that I'm just going to be able to show you with the right set of colors what we're going to do to be able to enhance that gorgeousness. So
Yeah, that's amazing.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And if you'd like, go ahead and share with everyone how they can find you and connect with you.
Yeah. So I have a presence on Instagram and Facebook. So House of Color Dothan. And you can go to houseofcolor.com and look. If you hear this podcast and you're not local to the Wiregrass area, there is a place where you can go on and type in your location, and it will show you the consultant that is closest to you in your area. And so each consultant has a little bio online, and so I think that that's always really great to read through and just be like, oh, because I feel like you can kind of make a connection with somebody based on what you read about them. And so I think that that's a fun way. So if you have more than one consultant in your area, I would say read the bios and really see who you connect with the most through that. So, or you can contact me via email or phone as well. So, but those are the two places that my social media presence will take you, is through Facebook and Instagram.
Hey gals, thank you for listening to the Go Getter Gal podcast. All of the information for this episode can be found in the show notes. Make sure that you go and like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram, as well as subscribe to us on YouTube. And to find the latest episodes of the Go Getter Gal podcast, you can visit our website at go-gettergals.com. See you next time.